Hey there folks, Luke here with the Outdoor Gear Review. I hope you're all doing well. Today for this episode we are taking a look at the Outdoor Research Advanced Bivy. It has two poles, highly compressible, lightweight, breathable, bug protection. Go ahead and get comfortable. Let's take a look at it now. Now before I unroll the bivy, I'm going to go ahead and throw down a piece of plastic here just to protect it from the elements. I do this with all of my gear. It doesn't matter if it's a bivy, a tent, a tarp, whatever. I always protect my gear to the extreme because I love every single piece of it. We'll go ahead and take everything out of the stuff sack. Now with this bivy, there's a number of different ways that you can set it up. You can use the two poles that come with it. You can tie it off to a tree. Whatever you want to do. You don't have to use the poles at all. Like I said, it really is however you want to set it up. There's multiple ways. With the two poles, you have one pole that is longer and one pole that is a tad shorter. Along with the two poles, you will get these 5 pole ends with snap fittings on them. Alright my friends, well we have the bivy set up, it's ready to rock and roll. Now there are a couple things that I want to point out. I've gone ahead and inserted all of the poles. There's 2. The longer pole goes on the inside, the shorter pole goes on the outside. The second thing is that I am using tent stakes to stake this bivy out. And that's because I don't have my sleeping pad inside of it. I don't have my sleeping bag inside of it. So these stakes are really just to kind of hold it into place while I show it off. You could definitely stake it out. You don't have to stake it out. In extreme weather, when it's really, really windy, I tend to do so. Now, this thing has a lot of really cool features that I like about it. I like the fact that you can stake it out like this. I also like the fact that on the top here, you don't have to use the poles if you don't want to. You do have these loops right here, so you can guy line this thing out. You can lay underneath a tree, tie these off to a couple branches, whatever you want to do, and it works just fine. You could save yourself a little bit of weight. Right below this flap is where you have your zipper. I'll unroll it so you can see it. You can see the zipper through here. This flap gives it protection. You have a 2-way zipper. Then when you have it unzipped, you can open it up just like so. And this is where you are going to be. This is where your head's going to be. You have a bug mesh, which you can zip in or zip out. Just like that. So you can have full bug protection. I am definitely a fan of bivvies, but not all bivvies have bug netting in them. This one does. It really does work well. If you're not going to use the bug netting, you could just roll it up, have it to one side. You can just about take it off completely. Right here at the top of the bivy, you do have this mesh zippered pocket, so you can stick your phone in there, whatever you want to, something that you don't want to have floating around inside of your bivy. Now right here in the middle, you can see this Velcro strap, and that's so you could put down your sleeping pad and then cinch that down to hold it into place. So as you toss and turn all night long, nothing's sliding around, nothing's going crazy. It's a really cool feature. You also have another one further down. That is what the inside of this bivy looks like. Very spacious, as you can tell. It's huge. I will go ahead and hop inside of this thing now so you guys can see just how spacious it really is. This is a one-size-fits-all bivy. It really is large. It's big enough for me that I can put my pack inside of this as well, use it as a pillow. Oh yeah, I mean it's absolutely humongous. Lots of space for you, your gear, and so on. One important thing to mention about this bivy is that it is so large, in fact, that it can hold the largest sleeping bag out there. So if you're in extremely cold temperatures and you have a very lofty sleeping bag, you don't have to worry because it's going to fit. A lot of bivvies out there are really, really tight. This one is not. So you can easily lay down inside of this. You can have your pillow. It's getting buggy, so we're going to zip it up. Now, one thing that I really like with this mesh netting is that the fabric that's around it is green. It's high visibility, so even when it's really dark, you can see it. We're now looking at the footbox of the bivy, and as you can see here, you have the Outdoor Research logo. Right below that is a really neat feature here. You have a vent for the footbox, and it has some mesh on the inside, so you have bug protection, but you can also release some air, some moisture. That's a really nice feature. So when it comes to the advanced bivy, let's go over some of the stats here. This is a one-size-fits-all, and the measurements are 87 inches long from head to toe. It is 26 inches wide at the top and 20 inches wide down at the bottom. Now when it comes to the materials, you are looking at GORE-TEX, 3-layer GORE-TEX. So it's waterproof, it's breathable, And it does a good job at both. I've used this in the rain multiple times and stayed 100% dry. When it comes to condensation, I've never had a bivy not condensate when it's extremely wet and extremely warm outside. This one's no different. It was kept to a minimum, but there was some condensation. Very typical for a bivy in such mild conditions, such high humidity, very warm temps. So I really cannot complain there at all. In the morning time, I would wake up and I would just be the slightest bit damp. So really, it does work well. I've used other bivvies where I've woken up in the same sort of conditions and been soaking wet, having the sleeping bag being soaked and everything else. So yes, this is a good performer. There's only one color available, this one right here. This is Mojo Blue with gray accents. I like it personally. It's not super bright, it's not yellow, it's not red. It's a good color combination. All of the seams are taped. It weighs 39 ounces, so it's not super heavy by any means, but this is a 4-season bivy. So you can use this in the spring, the summer, the fall, and the winter. In the snow, in the cold temperatures, this bivy is really going to excel because it has so much space in it. You're going to be able to use the largest sleeping bag out there, an insulated pad. You're going to be able to keep it cracked open for some airflow. It's really going to perform well in those conditions. When it comes to price, it's not cheap. This is $320. Now, when you're talking about GORE-TEX material, that's pretty darn fair. You know, if you think about it, it's actually a very good deal because your typical GORE-TEX jacket is going to be a couple $100. You can imagine how much more GORE-TEX it takes to make this bivy than your jacket. So you start putting that together and it's a fair price. You can look around and find these for around $200. I've seen those prices at the time of filming. Now, I've already touched upon some of my experiences with this bivy so far, and I'll expand upon that. I do like the fact that there's a pocket on the inside. I could just stick my phone in it. Most bivvies do not have pockets, and by the time you wake up, your phone's down by your feet or something like that. It's underneath your pad, so it's a nice feature. The bug netting is also nice. I like the fact that there's so many different ways that you can set up this bivy. You do not have to use those poles, and I like that because personally I'd rather leave the poles behind. I'll sleep right next to a tree, tie it off, and it works very well, and I'm also saving on some weight. The poles themselves seem sturdy so far. They're definitely not the strongest poles out there, but I have no complaints as of yet. I think for summertime use, this bivy may be a little bit overkill. You could definitely go lighter weight, but yet it has all the bells and whistles out there. Without a doubt, wintertime is when this thing is going to shine, and I'm looking forward to using it in a good old-fashioned snowstorm. Another feature that I really like about this bivy is that it has a Footbox vent. So in the summertime, you want a little bit of air, you can unzip that, or in the wintertime, you can release some of the moisture and prevent that from building up and freezing on the inside of your bivy. One negative that I have so far centers around the storage sack, the stuff sack. This thing is tight. On the best of conditions, and when you have plenty of time and have all of your dexterity, you can roll this thing up tight enough to stick it inside of here. When it's really cold, when this thing is covered in ice and your dexterity is kind of slow, kind of low, man, I don't know how easy it is going to be to put it inside of this stuff sack. This is very, very tight. I will likely replace this with maybe a Cuban fiber stuff sack, something larger. That would be my suggestion. I'm trying to roll this up here. I guess I didn't get it quite tight enough, and you can see just how tight this stuff sack is. Being given a small stuff sack is almost as bad as not being given one at all. Just barely got that thing in there. So my friends, for our look at the Outdoor Research Advanced Bivy, that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions for me, please feel free, drop me a line, let me know. I will see you guys around. Strength and honor, be well.